Welcome to HealthPod, your self-development hub
on mental health, psychology, and spirituality.
In December, we have the highest suicide rates. And in January, we have the highest divorce rates.
There is a lot of pressure being put on individuals during the holidays.
The ads, the expectations of what you should be spending on during Christmas. It puts so much pressure on people, not only mentally, but financially as well.
There is these overinflated expectations on how holidays should be like that makes us feel depressed. It's the most expensive time of the year. Hi guys, welcome yet to another episode of HealthPod. And we're here today to discuss about mental health during the holidays. I think that this is something that we have all experienced. And it is a very interesting topic because if you truly delve deeper into what is causing us these ups and downs during holidays, you will understand definitely a lot more about yourself. Hélène.
Hello.
Welcome, my love.
Oh, welcome back. We've had a little break from getting on here and chatting, and I'm happy that we're back.
Yes.
Back fresh, brand new.
I love this variety in our life that we do the podcast and also we have our own personal clients and our one-to-one coaching, our community, which is growing more and more. And I can only imagine what is going to happen in a couple of months with our community and the way it's growing.
Yeah.
And the feedback that we're getting from people, it's so heartwarming. But let's go
into our topic,
because this is why people have tuned in on today's episode. So you were telling me about some stats.
Yes. So this episode really is about us understanding where we are at with our mental health during the holidays. I mean, there's a lot of us that, me, myself, I love Christmas and I love the holidays and I love the festive season and I love what they mean and how the family comes together. And it just, for me, it brings a lot of happiness. But I know that there are so many people out there that suffer during this time. And this is really just to create space for those people to know that they're not alone and what we can do to improve the issues as well as the depressive symptoms that may come up during the holidays. So a couple of the stats that are really interesting is that in December, we have the highest suicide rates. And in January, we have the highest divorce rates. So therefore, people spend a lot of time reflecting either what the whole year has brought to them, what they've done, what they've achieved, how they've spent it. And perhaps there are a lot of people that don't have the family structures around them that they wish that they had in order to feel happiness, whole,
during the holidays. So there is a lot of pressure being put on individuals during the holidays. And I hear what you say. I hear loneliness. I hear love. And holidays is all about family, right? You're never alone. What if you do not have a family? What if you are alone? You do not have a partner? So this puts so much pressure on individuals to climb to that expectation of society, and the adverts revolve around that. People baking cookies together. I don't know. People having dinners together. What if you're somewhere abroad alone, and we've been there, and you don't have a family around you? Then that's definitely not holidays for you. That's another ordinary day with your family.
Or alone.
or alone, and there is this overinflated expectations on how holidays should be like that makes us feel depressed. And definitely there are two things that people are afraid the most in their life. One is loneliness and the other one is death. So if any holiday basically is an excuse for me to see that, oh no, I'm lonely, then this brings you to the realization that you're sad. You cannot meet the expectation because you're lonely, so you do not deserve to be happy. But what if we could change these things around?
Definitely lots to unpack right there. And talking about people that don't have the family structures that they wish they had, the ads, the expectations of what you should be spending on during Christmas, which has been such a overhyped, overinflated way of celebrating the holidays, that it puts so much pressure on people, not only mentally, but financially as well. So there are many elements as to how our holidays can in fact have so much pressure around, whether it's financial, whether it's mental, whether it's seasonal. There's a lot of the times the weather actually changes during that time. So seasonal affective disorder is something that we also experience. And I think one of the key points when I think of Christmas is family. Some people experience loneliness during the holidays, but a lot of people that I've spoken with and I'm around experience an overstimulation and overdose of family because they are our biggest triggers. Thank you so much for watching this episode. If you'd like to dive deeper into your own personal development and tap into your most authentic self, you can book a one-on-one session with me. You'll be able to find the details in the description here below. I look forward to chatting with you.
Family is something definitely that makes us see ourselves deeper, makes us understand our triggers, and also when we are meeting up with our family during the holidays, we're split between either playing the role of our adult self or playing the role of the wounded child, pretending to be in a family household that everyone is happy. So this brings a lot into realization because there are a lot of dynamics going on within the family in which we were born into. So we all potentially have this relative that is always reaching out first for food, or the one that drinks too much and creates a lot of havoc around them.
Says a lot of truths.
A lot of truths.
That are triggering.
Yes, we have the quiet person that sits there alone and just it's
in their phone,
trying to avoid everyone. And then you get the silly guy that is kind of trying to
get the attention of everyone, smoothen out the dynamics and the friction and just like be the clown of the family.
Exactly. And then you have the parents, on the other hand, that are like, oh, we're such a happy family. And it's like the walls are...
they live in a utopian
breaking
idea.
Down, and they live in this utopia. And you're like, oh, yeah, mom and dad, we're a happy family. And no one is speaking their truth.
So we play out roles of our childhood when we enter the family holidays, or we choose to play out the role that we have developed into as adults. And that's where a lot of conflict occurs. So either it's internal conflict or it's actual conflict within the family.
Yes. I think, now thinking of me, I find it extremely difficult to be myself around family. And this is torturing for me, because in one point of view, you're trying not to upset them. You are trying not to create a climate that is sour and bitter. And you're like, okay, it's just 2-3 hours of my day, just let it pass. But in the process of you doing so, you're not living up to your higher self. You're telling to yourself, you're not this person. You're not this person. Live the life that other people want from you. And if you do that constantly with your family, and if you're constantly exposed to your family, and I see this a lot with clients of mine that still live with their parents, and I understand how difficult it is nowadays to have your own apartment, you cannot become the highest version of yourself. Become aligned to your truth and be yourself. And holidays it's putting an additional pressure, as you said. It's not only the financial pressure of giving the best gifts to your partner, to your kids, taking them out for expensive holidays or to expensive restaurants, and then your bank account, you see, just slowly dissolving. It's also you playing a role on what society expects from you and what your family expects from you. So it's expectation on top of expectation that brings you into this form of sadness.
It sounds like you're tearing yourself apart from all angles. And with that comes a lot of self-destructive thoughts, yourself sabotaging yourself. And that's hard. That's hard in itself. Knowing that throughout the year, you are in your routine, you have a structure in place that perhaps works for you, and that you are truly happy. And then you have this break of the holidays, which brings you to an awareness of, oh, shit, my actual triggers are here within the family structure and not where I was living for the past couple of months or year, right? And therefore, I'm coming face to face with the things that I actually need to work on. And that's if you have an understanding and an awareness of that.
It brings things to the surface, and based on what you've said, a lot of people are drowning themselves into work, trying to avoid their reality. And we might be speaking about their feelings. And we might be speaking about addictions, but also working too much is an addiction. If you have an unhealthy relationship with your partner, with your kids, of course you do not want to have the difficult conversation. Of course you want to go to the office where you thrive and you might be the CEO of a multi-million-dollar company where everyone worships you, but as soon as you go home, no one worships you. Your kids don't speak to you because you hardly spend any time with them. Your partner is pissed off with you because you have nothing else to offer than just money. So holidays bring to the surface so many layers of your reality that you are trying to avoid that makes people feel resentment about these holidays and the expectation that they cannot keep up. And on top of that, the cherry on the cake is also the neurochemistry that comes into play, that because we do not have so much sunshine outside, our circadian rhythm gets out of balance, and cortisol is not in its highest form. And we exaggerate that, either because we stop exercising, either because we drink too much, eat too much, don't sleep enough. We're not exposing ourselves to the outdoors because we're finding an excuse, oh, it's cold, or it's raining, or it's wet. So we do all these things that are jeopardizing our mental health. And it's time for that to change. The blues of the
holiday
holidays?
blues. There's so many tools out there that can bring us back to ourselves and help us really put things into perspective. First of all, coming back to our breath. So a lot of the times when I find myself in difficult family situations, there are two parts of me that come out. One is the very reactive Hélène. I just say shit as it is. Or I choose to go outside and take a deep breath. Yeah, take a double inhale and just come back to myself and observe as opposed to react, which can be very beneficial in a way that you don't get caught up in all the drama. Because what happens when we are within our families, it's a structure, it's a role playing, it's a dynamic that we have been used to. So as soon as you step into your household or near your family, you go into this little cave, into this dark cave where you grew up in.
Oh my God.
Where all your trauma, where all the discomfort, the resentment, the suppression, the emotional abuse, physical abuse, whatever you have been through in your life, all comes back to you. So you have a choice in that moment to either step into the cave with everybody or stand back and observe them and bring more awareness to the situation as well as the whole system around Christmas, which does have us overspending, buying things that we don't actually need, that don't make us feel happier. In fact, we feel less fulfilled, which exaggerates and highlights the emptiness, the loneliness, the mental health aspects that are, in fact, the areas that we need to be looking at more, but we spend all the year avoiding them.
So what should people do at that phase when they come into a realization of being unhappy?
People need to realize that they need to create a system and a structure around them that works for them, most importantly. If you are buying things for people that you don't want to be buying things for, and that goes against your own belief system, then you need to stop doing that. You need to stop playing the roles that the system, the advertisements, the people around you have been playing. Change the game.
It's very funny. You make me think right now, and I'm going to share something of my own personal story. Growing up in my family, of course, we never had anything to complain about. We had everything, really. But we would never really afford my dad would never overstretch and go and buy things that were kind of unnecessary. So I catch myself now as an adult, I go and buy these very expensive bottles of wine for all the families. Like, just have them. Yes, there's abundance in our life. There is, and it's me trying to relive a childhood in which there were no limitations, in which everything was within our boundaries. We had access to everything. Now, I now understand why my dad used to do that, though. Not because we didn't have access to those things, but there were other priorities. And I'm thankful to my dad because he realized that this is what's important. The dynamics, maybe. Family coming together. Traditions. Not really the most expensive, I don't know, pate. We would never have pate.
Doesn't sound like you too.
Yes, this is the most expensive wine, let's say. Yeah. So, but I feel now as an adult, it's from one point of view, maybe I'm trying to prove my value to my family. From another point of view, I'm like, why can't my family have what other families had? And I'm trying to bring that into my family environment. And it's very strange that you do that. And
isn't it funny how we have so many layers
have so many layers
of our unconscious systems, how they are playing out.
They're playing out, yes.
Playing out. And if I remember correctly, you never liked Christmas. You never liked the holidays.
I never liked the holidays or my birthday because my expectations were not being met as a child. So my dad could have been working during that time. So, and I've also grew resentful of money because money took away the love of my dad for me and the time of my dad with me as a boy. And even when we used to meet with family, every family had their own stories. Mm-hmm. And as a child, I was sitting and observing. I would observe uncles, my aunties, either not respecting parts of my family environment. And I grew bitter, and angry.
You're resentful.
Resentful. I was like, how dare you
towards them? Yeah.
My family.
So had you associated that with the holidays?
And I've associated that with the holidays because I was the youngest and I never really had a voice. But inside of me, there was a fire burning that wanted to consume everyone. But I would never go to that extent because we were always trying to keep the facade of family, being with family. And so, I
think lots of people can relate to that.
Sometimes, you need to stand up and speak your truth. And this is family. If your family cannot hold on to your truth, which is your own interpretation that comes with your own, let's say, trauma, then how do you expect the world to handle it? How do you expect to find the voice inside of you to speak your truth to the world when your family cannot hold your truth?
Yeah, because if we have to play these roles around our family because they don't accept us as they are, then maybe they're not the right people to be around.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So whoever might be experiencing these kind of thoughts, I would suggest that they reach out, seek help, therapy, because these are heavy emotions that might be boiling up inside of them.
Yeah.
And if you find yourself while being with family, just your shoulders are tensing
your
up. Your
body tenses up.
Or you're trying to shrink. Yeah. There's some embarrassment, guilt, or anger that you're trying to hold in.
And it needs to be processed.
It needs to be processed.
Yeah, you do need to look at it. It's not just about, it doesn't just come up at Christmas. It's just that your triggers come up at Christmas. They're always there. Mm-hmm. It just highlights them. It's like, when you live in the jungle and you meditate all day and you have no triggers around you, of course you're going to feel enlightened and centered and aligned. But when you come back into the world where there are people around you that caused those wounds, that's where you're doing the work. That's where you're aware that, hey, this doesn't sit with me. I need to find my center again. And how do I do that? Through talking to the right people, making sure that you are in therapy, speaking to people that can support you and help you. It could even be your friends. It could be friends that actually listen to you, that know how to see you, hear you, support you, and also keeping a journal. So actually journaling out your thoughts and your feelings.
Having an inner dialogue with yourself.
Yeah. And coming to self-awareness, where that awareness brings you to a more conscious way of living throughout the holidays.
Yep, absolutely.
So there are people who absolutely hate Christmas that have asked for our tips on how they can navigate this family season. What will your tips be for people who...
I would say spend more time outdoors, get a hobby that you love doing during Christmas. Say no to the countless of dinners and family gatherings that you're invited to, and you have to play a role. Know where is your threshold,
your boundaries.
With family. Don't overindulge in drinking. Be also very mindful about what you're drinking, because they're drinks and drinks.
Yeah. And also, this is a vessel. This is a beautiful vessel that, yes, you need to look after. No matter if it's holiday season, it's not a time to actually trash the shit out of your body.
Oh, yeah.
Which is what we do, left, right, and center, whether it's, mentally, financially, with family, with...
So imagine if you're having high caloric food with high metabolic value, and you also have drinks, you have your temperature rising, you have palpitations. And even in happy scenarios, you could misinterpret certain signals from your outside and from your external environment as triggers. And you might become confused from something very small by subconsciously reading your temperature rising or your heart pumping. And then you might engage in an argument with someone for no real reason, because your body, due to alcohol, is playing tricks on you.
It sounds like we are consciously making all the wrong choices during the season that is the most festive or the most difficult.
It's the happiest time of
It's the most happiest time of the year.
So I think people that do have this upbringing and this negative association with Christmas, they need to first bring awareness into what has caused them this form of dislike, and then rewire that dislike with positive moments as adults. And by doing so, by doing this also repeatedly, then they're gonna grow and start loving Christmas, their birthdays, and every holiday that kind of has this little bit of a bitter taste in their mouth.
And the last thing that's very important is the boundaries.
Yes.
Because during this family holidays and the Christmas season, we find ourselves saying yes to everyone else and no to ourselves. And the more you do that, the unhappier you become.
That's gold. Boop, boop. Hey guys, thank you for watching. If you're enjoying this video, do not forget to hit the subscribe button. It would mean a lot to us.
I have a very good question for you, Dr. Stephanos. Do we lie to our kids about Santa?
Okay.
Yes or no?
I think we should not lie to our kids about Santa.
But you do.
But I do, yeah. And this might be also what has fucked me up as a child. I suppose that we all have these funny stories about Santa growing up and realizing whether this guy with the red suit existed or not. But
did he creep you out?
No, there was someone eating the cookies and drinking the milk. So you're like, who is this weird guy that can get from the chimney into your house?
I mean, he sounds fucking creepy.
It is creepy. He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake.
Who's this pedophile?
I think what we really want our kids to believe when it comes to Santa is we want them to believe in miracles.
Yeah.
Because we want to believe in miracles. And somewhere along the line, life has hardened us up to such an extent that we stopped believing in miracles. But miracles are always there in our life. They're happening, they're manifesting in so many different ways. And I think kids need to know the story of Santa, the real story of Santa, that was actually a shaman that was giving magic mushrooms to nomadic tribes for them to feel happier during the heavy winters. But some parents would avoid to say that form of story. And about
so maybe
the flying reindeers.
Maybe the way to feel better at Christmas is to just give everyone shroomies.
Yes. And then you could see the big guy coming down from the chimney, right?
You see everything.
Or a flying reindeer.
You see him in his
Now I see Santa. Whoa, he's real. So we want kids to believe in miracles.
It's really an opportunity to rethink where you stand with Christmas itself. And is it really buying all the shit that you don't need, overspending, buying gifts for your kids, or making your kids believe in Santa for them to get gifts? Because my story is I had to believe in him in order to receive gifts. So therefore I had to play the role
so it was
of
forced.
A child. It was forced. Santa was, he was forced. He was a law in the contract in my household. And yeah, with that being said, it's a way to make you think and really question what do you want Christmas to actually represent for you, and how you want your own family structure to support that, and whether you want to make your kids believe in Santa or not, or make them think that they need shit that they don't need in order to feel worthy.
Oh yeah, and happy.
Yeah. How has Christmas changed for us since we've become parents?
I think it became better. Now we focus on our family and what we wanted to experience as children.
Gosh, I just realized that
Growing up.
everything I wanted during Christmas and everything you wanted during Christmas, we have recreated into our family system. And with that, like, that's what we like to do, more home cooking, where you just go out and buy stuff that we don't need.
We go on small trips with the kids.
We do a lot more things together, and that brings us all much closer together. We avoid family too. That's something that I consciously do. Like I can't see them 3 days in a row.
Yeah, thank God our family are not going to watch this.
Thank God they're not going to watch this
podcast.
But really, you just need to know where your threshold is and how much, you can take of them, so that you have enough time and space for yourself, and to try and make it as special as you can for your own children.
So it's like life is like a circle. It's like, we got some certain programming from our families around holidays. Then as adults, you process it. You see what you don't like.
You make changes.
You make changes. You have your own family. And you start looking after yourself, and you start looking after the people that you love, and you try and give them that you might have never got. And then you grow in this process. So holidays are also a fantastic way of growing as a person, of realizing things about yourself, and not just putting them under the carpet.
Yes.
Just process them. Go through the pain. Go through the tears. Become angry, become upset. But ask the question, from where is this coming from? And when you find the source, you can change it.
Yeah. I think that's a very good point. so many people end up spending so much time avoiding what they actually need to look at. We actually forget the importance of community.
Which is the most important
tradition,
thing.
Of love, of unity, of compassion.
Of giving. And maybe during the holidays, people, instead of buying gifts that they don't need, they should help people in actual need. Mm-hmm. And if we want to change our children's programming around Christmas and with this over-consuming culture that is a never-ending vicious cycle, maybe we should stop buying gifts for ourselves during Christmas and actually tell to our kids, you know what? I don't need gifts during Christmas. I have my family. I have my health. I have my home. Because these are the things that are actual gifts, not material things that you have so many of.
Yeah. And that's a really good point right there to mention, that instead of buying things, choose to give things.
Yes.
And I think that's a great change to the system. And that's something we're going to implement this year with our family. Teaching them community and finding people in need that actually need your time, your love, and a plate of food. You know, there's so many people that are homeless, that need your support, that need your time.
And for anyone listening to this episode, please send us some recommendations in which we could reach out to our community and maybe we could help some families in need through this podcast, through the work that we're doing.
That would be beautiful. That's what we're going to be doing on our community, in our community of Empowering You, where we actually hold events, monthly events, and we have a membership program on there where people get access to community and events. One of the events in December will include a charity community event where we go to one of the organizations and we give instead of take.
Yeah.
So
after that,
there we go. Implemented two parts to it.
The change starts with us.
The change starts with us. Absolutely.
Thank you very much for watching today's episode. Happy holidays. May you always be blessed and take this time to self-reflect. Surround yourself with your loved ones, but also never forget, do not neglect yourself. Leave us your comments about how your holiday has been going like, and we will get back to you. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you. Thank you so much for watching this episode. It's been an absolute pleasure filming it for you guys. If you like the work that we are putting out into the world, please make sure you like this video and you subscribe to our channel. It really helps the work that we do.
And if you would like to follow our journey on our IG accounts as well as learn more about our services, we provide everything for you in the description below. Thanks for watching.